You are watching the Friday edition of Platinum Northwest TV News. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Philadelphia Mangoeng. Let's take a look now at the news making headlines. First up, chaos has erupted inside the city of Matlosana Municipal offices over unpaid overtime, and 3 bodies found in the Schoonspruit River led to the arrest of 4 Lesotho nationals. In the business news, Trade and Industry Minister seeks to save 3,500 jobs. And in sports news, Steve Barker lauds Devon Titus after Stellenbosch's big win. We begin here. Earlier today, a protest by the Matlosana Municipal workers broke out over non-payment. Now, the team spoke to Prince Machila, one of the employees, and this is what he had to say.
Kina Prince Machila, riba ke mosebetsi wa masepala ke bereka water section. Re na le problem e nngwe e kgolo rona bo blue ba masepala ba Matlosana a re tsawe ya ka batho re tsaelwa fase and batho ba di office ba kreya taba ka rona information e o re ba be di director ba be di mayor ba be something ke lebaka la rona ba metsing ke le electricity ke sewer a re tsawe ya ka batho a re bone go ya ka batho re tsaelwa fase le no a re na uniform a re na next no re mo striking sa chelete re batla chelete tsa rona a ba re kenyetsa chelete tsa rona tsa di overtime a ba ke berekile Christmas le New Year le di stand by 4 a una le se C1 se ba se kening no it's a big problem kontung kwana musari ya kifita utanchapa rina kibichisa ka chelete no ki mathata ifita muntu no basebetsi ba tletse mo Matlosana mo asuri re to etsa strike re alwana re tsang re to bata ditukelo tsa rona re le basebetsi ba mo Matlosana di director tse ba utwa ka rona ka reporto ba ikire ka rona everything ba se kire ka rona amen sheba engwe hape okay ke atla go yona danki bontate transporto ho shebile di contractor ke tsena di phile matla kolo e khono fela diski ya masepala kolo e khono fela ntho e sa di nixi kolo ya masepala a ibankanyiwe tse rona re berekang ka tsona re a re tsebore ha re le basebetsi bo blue di generala rona re etse eng bona ba bagolo ba shebile tšhelete e tswang ya di contractor ke yona e ba jang ka yona ba phila ka yona ho etswa di party ka yona ba fuwa di 20 million ba fuwa di 30 million tse dingwe ba di phokotela no rona re mo mathateng ka rona a rena matla a o bua 1 2 3 amen.
We also spoke to the mayor, Councillor Fikile Mahlope, who gave an update on when the workers are going to be paid.
Good morning. My name is Fikile Mahlope. I'm the executive mayor of the city of Matlosana. We are here in the city of Matlosana today. There's been a demonstration from our workers, both in sewer and water, due to the non-payment of their overtimes. I've came here, I've spoken to the workers. We have indicated to them that the matter is resolved. I've had an emergency meeting with the management that includes the CFO, the MM, the director corporate, the MMCs. We then discussed on the solution. We have agreed that the teams that must capture the overtimes will be working from today, including Saturday and Sunday. And as they'll be working, they will be able to pay the workers. But I must indicate that there's been a problem that they must close first the system, and then after closing the system, they must then capture the overtimes of the workers. We then agreed with the workers that this is the correct process where the teams are going to be on site and do exactly what we have agreed upon. And I must ensure you and ensure the public that the situation is calm. We have agreed on the solution together with the workers. So the crisis has been handled. The workers are here with me. We came with the solution. The management is here with me. We also want to indicate that in a situation of this nature, we all have to be level-headed and resolve the issue. Of course, the workers were right. They're demanding what was due for them because they've worked for this money throughout the December process. But unfortunately, there was a technical glitch in terms of the system, which is a situation that has been handled. Other issues that are circulating on media, pictures that are circulated will be discussed in terms of the behavior, but we have agreed that for now we are handling the situation and the situation is right. But I must indicate that the situation is calm, we are fine. The building, as you can see, is not bent down. The exaggeration that is meant, of course, there was a demonstration, there was a desk that was bent, but I see on social media it's exaggerated and say the city of Matlosana is burning and is down. It's not a true reflection. It's a bit exaggerated, but there was a demonstration from the workers, and the situation is well handled by the city of Matlosana, led by myself, management, and together with the workers. The relevant employees who are dealing with capturing would be starting. In fact, they are already working. It's just that some of them were working at home because they raised an issue of safety. We then guaranteed them that with the workers, of course, that their safety is guaranteed. There is no need for them to work at home. They must come back to their offices and start with the capturing. So there's no animosity between ourselves and the workers. It started a bit chaotic, but we have found each other. Thank you.
Now, the mayor gave assurance that the HR department will work tirelessly over the weekend to resolve this issue and that the workers will receive their full salaries.
Gompieno re mo masepaleng wa Matlosana ba e leng gore go nnile le dikgaruru tota mogwanto e leng gore o bakilwe ke go sa duelwe sentle ga badiri mme re kopane le majoro e leng gore o ile a re netefaletsa fa ba lefapha la bone la khiro ba tle go dira ka natla mo mafelong a beke go netefatsa gore badiri ba bona madi a bone ka nako mme se ke morago ga gore mo maranyaneng go tsamaye dikgatiso di bontsha fa go na le mollo mme mollo o bakilwe teng mo masepaleng o ne a ganetsa thata kgannye mme a netefatsa gore tsotlhe di apere tshiamo ke boitshepo makgwana o dikgang tsa Platinum Northwest TV, Matlosana City Council.
In other news, police from Kanana near Orkney worked around the clock to identify and arrest 4 men for the triple murder of 3 males between the ages of 25 and 38. It is alleged that on Saturday evening a fight broke out between Lesotho nationals at a tavern in Extension 13 in Kanana, with initial information indicating that the one group overpowered the other and forced 5 victims into a vehicle and kidnapped them. Now, they drove to a nearby Schoonspruit river where they assaulted these victims. One of the victims escaped and 4 others were thrown into the river. One of the victims swam to safety whilst 3 went missing. The matter was reported to the police, who immediately searched for the victims who could not be found. Police divers were then activated the next day to assist with the search operation. Here's police spokesperson Colonel Adel Mayberg with more.
The first body was recovered by police divers early on Monday morning, the 20th of January, approximately 800 meters downstream from the initial crime scene. A second body was recovered at midday on Tuesday, the 21st of January, about 650 meters downstream, and the last body was recovered later the same day at about 1640, about 1.5 kilometers downstream from the crime scene. Excellent investigations by the detectives led to the arrest of the first suspect on Monday, the 20th of January. 3 more suspects were also identified and arrested. Moswiu Litsi, which is 32, Tumisang Kochone, which is 21, Tidiso Motloboli, which is 18, and Itumeleng Moshwenyane, which is 24, appeared before the Orkney Magistrate Court between Monday the 20th and Wednesday the 22nd of January on charges of murder, kidnapping, and assault with the intent to do grievous bodily harm. They were all remanded in custody until Monday the 27th of January for a formal bail application. The Acting Provincial Police Commissioner of the Northwest, Major General Patrick Asaneng, congratulated the team for working around the clock to identify and arrest the alleged criminals and retrieve the bodies of the deceased from the river. He sent a strong warning that lawlessness will not be tolerated and said criminals will face the full might of the law.
In more news, Chibusa President Matlosana, who is also an attorney at the Lawyers for Human Rights, yesterday attended and addressed community mass meeting in Khuma in Stilfontein, where the community came together to demand justice and decent jobs. The meeting was a resounding success, with the overwhelming majority of the community in the township attending. This all more remarkable, given that the mobilization for the meeting only started few hours before with loud hailing. In short space of time, the township came to life with tides of human waves that descended on the local football stadium. In an act equally remarkable for its defiance, an important notice was also translated into Shona to the applause of the mass meeting, in an act of obvious rejection of xenophobia and right-wing populism that has characterized the state responses. Let's take a look.
Heli le go laelwa kwa ge tsuga tsukune re le bo maila go fenywa le bo maila go fenywa ka baka la gore o ile ge taba tse di thoma ba ile gore ba swere mmuso ba ile gore ba swere seponisa ba ile ba tšea taba ya lena ba e phetola ba bolla mmaka go se swan le selo mo setšhabeng le lefaseng ka moka le nna ke ile ke le mo ke lego ke be ke no go re go ne Stellenbosch ke re batho ba ke go re batho ba ganela go fitla ge ke go tša molaetša go makhomretse ke bereka go le bona ba makua ba re gante se be go diega ke re no taba Stellenbosch ke ne bona e feta ke bona e feta ke go ba re no a go molato mo eno ba re batho ba ganela ba tšhaba go swariwa ba re au no a go jwala ke re go jwang ba etapele ba mpotša gore no mola batho ba le ga ba ganele batho ba le ba ka fase ga mokoti le gore no ba pala go tswa ka gona ka baka la gore re ne maitemogelo a mmuso ene ke mmuso le gore ga o tshepagale ke batho ba maka nna ke a ba tseba jwale makhomretse ka beno ga ba mpotša taba o kare le a ba reretšhetša ke a ba tseba ka nnapa ka tsweletša taba ya gore aowa batho ba a bantšhweng jwale ge re thoma rialo re thoma go bona ba ditaba ke gona mo e le gore no ke thomile go bolla le ba ditaba ke ge re bolla le makhomretse gore thagana le jwale taba ya golume ga ba gore na thuso go nyaka ga e jwang na thuso ya ba gore no go nyaka ga ya boramolao ba boleledi ka taba gore mola go a gaganiwa ene ba mmuso ba gana go ria maekarabelo a e le gore ba ne le ona ka molaotheong ene maekarabelo ke a ba feng maekarabelo ke gore ba boloke bophelo jwa mobu ke taba e le go bonoleng a ra se re bere a bua ka ne batho ba bantši ka mo nageng ba re roga nna le mehle ebile ke hotša di-email tše di swa batho ba re no re go bone o lwantšha wa re keng o lwela gore batho ba die bosini ka nageng o lwela bagodu ebile ga botse re botse gore naga gauta eo kae jale ge e bene gona le mputetše nke lempheng ka baka la gore na se ke e bona molaba nna taba e le gore e ditlišitše mo ebile gore batho ba ka fase ga molete ane batho ga ba re kgetho ya go tswa ka moo ene ga ke e tlhalosa ka baka la gore re ne batho ba e leng gore le a ba bona ke ba ditaba mo ba tšea ene re nako gore re tšee baka se sengwe se re tlhalosetse batho ka ga re tšee re tlhalositše bothata mo kudu e be le shaft 11 shaft 11 go se swane le shaft tše dingwe.
And on to this now, the African National Congress has welcomed the signing of the expropriation bill into law by President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying it will facilitate socio-economic development and address inequalities in land ownership. The ANC believes the bill balances individual rights with public interest. Deputy Minister Sihle Zikalala says the law will contribute to economic transformation. The move is seen as a significant step toward land reform in South Africa. The bill has also been subject to controversy, with opposition parties criticizing its potential impact on property rights. The law is expected to be implemented in phases, with further details to be announced in due course. Ramaphosa's administration has assured citizens that the law will be applied in a fair and transparent manner. Moving on to international news now, hundreds of Jenin residents left their homes on Thursday, prompted by messages from drones fitted with loudspeakers as the military demolished a number of houses on the third day of a major operation in the West Bank city. The operation, involving large columns of vehicles backed by helicopters and drones, was launched in the first week of a ceasefire in Gaza that saw the first exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails since a brief truce in November 2023. Armored bulldozers have dug up roads, causing movement in the city difficult, but hundreds of people left their homes in the camp, dragging suitcases after they said they heard messages to evacuate. Overnight on Wednesday, Israeli troops killed 2 armed men barricaded inside a building in Birkin outside Jenin after a gunfight. Now, the 2 suspects were carrying out an attack near the Palestinian village of Al-Fungdonk earlier this month, in which 3 Israelis were killed. For that, let's take a look now at the business news. In the business news, Trade and Industry and Competition Minister Park Stow held emergency talks with the Ocello Matters majority owners, the Mittal family, to prevent 3,500 job losses in South Africa. The meeting, which included President Cyril Ramaphosa and other ministers, aimed to find solutions to steel producers' financial woes and avoid plant closures in Newcastle and Vereeniging. The discussions are part of urgent efforts to mitigate the impact of ArcelorMittal's plant closures on workers and local communities. Now, the solution is expected to be announced in the coming weeks following further negotiations. And that's all from the business news. After this, we get the sports roundup. In soccer news, Stellenbosch FC coach Steve Barker praised forward Devon Titus for his standout performance in the team's 5-0 victory over AmaZulu. After a 1-0 half-time lead, Titus scored twice within 8 minutes, breaking the game open. Despite the scoreline, the match was closely contested. Stellenbosch took 18 shots, only 4 more than AmaZulu, and possession was nearly even at 48%. For visitors, the key difference was shots on target. Stellenbosch had 11, while AmaZulu managed just 2. Moving on to rugby news now, Shark coach John Plumtree vows his team will respond appropriately in tomorrow's United Rugby Nations match against Cardiff following last week's 66-12 defeat in Bordeaux. He emphasized the need to regroup and perform better this weekend. Vincent Chikuta replaces Sia Kolisi as captain for the Cardiff match, returning from injury and stepping into number 4 lock position to help the Sharks rebound. The Sharks have faced second-row challenges worsened by Corne Ralph's concussion, prompting Chikuta to step in. Kolisi's absence will see Currie Cup captain Nick Hatton take on, having travelled to Wales. Plumtree has secured extra support, while Springbok Jordan Hendrickse returns to start at fullback, keeping Sia Masuku at fly half. Wing Makazole Mampimpi is back, and Vincent Koch will support from the bench after missing the Champions Cup match. With Mampimpi's return, Ethan Hooker moves from left wing to inside centre. Grant Williams remains scrum half, with Jaden Hendrickse available from the bench. And that's a wrap for this week's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. The team will be back again on Monday evening. Till then, have a blessed weekend. Good night and take care.